Hey, welcome everyone. Looks like we are live. I missed you last week. We did not do a 1 o'clock live video. Just got distracted by a million other things, and I wasn't here. So, what I want to do this week is just spend a few moments just talking about some of the success stories that we've had come to us from doing these injections over the last few weeks. So, I'm taking these right off of our Facebook page. They'll be up on our website soon. But you can see every single one of these pictures and stories that I'm going to talk about today just right there on our Sensor Medica Clinic's Facebook page. But let's just start with Cliff. So Cliff came in. He actually saw one of our Facebook ads, and he came in, and very much his hat made me laugh from the get-go. He wears that hat now every day. But Cliff came in because he's 80, and he saw our ad on Facebook, and he wanted to have an option rather than having to have a knee replacement because he turns 80 this year. And he's one of these guys that living in Southeast Idaho, I've learned that there is no such thing as a retired farmer or a retired rancher. They just work and keep working. And in Cliff's case, he's one of those guys that I believe he was in maintenance, but he's still working land, and even though he's retired, he hasn't really slowed down. So he did not want to have a replacement. So he came to us to talk to us about possibilities of doing regenerative medicine. So we injected him with PRP, with stem cell exosomes. And even at 80 years old, within the week, Cliff started to feel better. Sorry, I'm just getting a question from Janae. I haven't seen anything new with MS, Janae. I'm sorry about that. I'll keep looking, though, and if I find anything, I will certainly get it over to you. But Cliff, in his case, he was super happy that he was able to do that, and we were happy to provide that service for Cliff. And here's what I love, too, is now with the follow-up that we're doing, it's not just an injection and see you. If that were the case, I don't do the injections. I'm a chiropractor, so I can't put needles in people. Our medical staff does that for us, and it's the part that I don't like about that is I don't get to know people. But when we start doing the follow-up care, we'll do shockwave and laser therapy as a part of the follow-up, and we're seeing phenomenal results by doing it that way. I actually get to sit down and chat and get to know some of these people. Cliff has been an absolute riot. So we appreciate you, Cliff. We're happy that you're feeling better. Let's talk about James. So I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to switch pictures on you. Whoops. Yeah, there's my dad. We could talk about him. We've done that before. James is missing. Where are you at, James? Interesting. Let me bounce out of this for a second because there's definitely another guy here I want to tell you about. There he is. Okay, so James came to yeah, I love Cliff's smile too, Jen. Sorry, I just jumped back on the page where I see the comments. Janae, I'm still looking. I appreciate your understanding. You're great. Keep following us. I share what I find, and if I find that, we'll certainly be on it. James, there's a funny story behind James. So he came to one of our seminars back. Do you remember when we used to be able to do live seminars? I remember that too, and it was a lot of fun. We were doing seminars all over Southeast Idaho, Western Wyoming. And James lives in a small town a couple hours south of us called Malad. He came to a seminar in Pocatello, and he was not ready to proceed forward with this at the time. So come last month, he finally called. It was like a year and a half later, and he wanted to do his back and he wanted to do his knee. And the funny part is I kind of made a joke with James. I'm not always professional all of the time, but I was teasing James about his eye not growing back, and he was all right with that. But we injected his knee and we injected his spine. Now, when we do these spine injections, they do not go into the actual spinal column itself. They go into the muscles above the spine, and we do very, very well with those. So James, when he came back, I think it was within 3 weeks, he was doing some of the follow-up care that I talked about. And James, he was super happy about sleeping again. Like his pain was down so much that he was actually able to sleep. So that was really cool to see. Again, it was fun to get to know James a little bit better. He's he's uh, he's a goof, kind of like me. So we really loved having him around. And the last one I'm going to tell you about is the one I just barely uploaded. So let me see if I can find this without a lot of trouble. So here's Kara. Here she is. Okay. So Kara is a runner. So she's young, as you can see. So she wasn't a candidate for doing a regenerative medicine, but we had another thing that we've offered her that she's done very, very well with, and that was the custom orthotics that we build here in the clinic. And so Kara she's a runner, and she runs up to about 30 miles a week. And for years and years, she has had this hip pain it wasn't slowing her down, but it was certainly causing her pain. She just ran through it anyway. And she'd spent a lot of money looking for the right combination of shoes and orthotics. And our friends over at Bill's Bike and Run, they actually sent her over here to try out orthotics. So what we did with Kara is we did a gait analysis where she walks across our pressure platforms, where we measured the pressure on her feet. Because if you remember that old song about your foot bone connected to your knee bone connected to your hip bone, that's exactly what was happening with her. I don't remember the exact details, but her foot was off, so that she was when she would walk, it was like she was putting too much pressure on one side of her foot. That would put too much pressure on the inside of her knee, and that would translate up to the hip. So we easily corrected that with a pair of custom orthotics for her that we built based off of the pressure analysis that we did, and she was very, very happy with the results. So within a couple of weeks, she was pain-free, and now she's running without pain. So that's been a big, big deal for her. So we appreciate her letting us take that picture, and being able to share her story, I think, is huge. So those are the three that I wanted to share with you. Janae, maybe I should try that for my degenerative disc disease. Janae, I'd love to be able to just sit down and talk with you about it, because what we could do is I like to pull up your imaging and look at your imaging and compare it to what I see clinically here in the office. And that way we can actually come up with a plan of, hey, what are our percentages that this could help you? What can we get going in the right direction? How can we do this appropriately for you? That's my thought on cases like that. Knees, shoulders, elbows, etc. are pretty straightforward, but when it comes to doing like degenerative disc disease, it really depends on how far degenerated it is. It depends on your symptomatology, how far is the pain shooting in down your legs, and it also depends really on what your expectations are, because what we want is for you to be happy. And if it doesn't work out for you, we don't. We just need to sit and talk about that. So, guys, those are the stories I wanted to share with you for today. We're going to keep doing these live videos. Again, I apologize about last week, but we'll get back on here and share what we can as we learn more and more. So we appreciate you being here and appreciate you participating. I ask you, share these videos. That helps us out a lot. And I appreciate you. We will see you on the next video. Thank you.